If she'll cheat with you, she'll cheat on you. Look, there is nuance. She could be just about to leave a relationship with some dude, and then you show up, her white knight in shining armor. Let her finish it first, and then you can re-engage after it's done. Okay, basically what I said is how to not overinvest. One, get more dates. Second of all, understand it's just a very, very ineffective strategy. We as men naturally want to invest. We want to invest a lot. We feel very good when we invest a lot. We want to make her feel good because that's how we make relationships work. We are the types of men who paint her a picture, who drive her home, even if it's an hour and a half. Yeah, no worries. Right? Yeah, no problem. Because we do that for our friends. And it's actually awesome. And the right people will really appreciate you for doing that. But in the beginning, it's going to freak her out because she realizes you don't respect yourself. Because a random person that you don't know yet doesn't deserve that type of effort. You think it's kind. From her perspective, you're being needy and overinvesting. Yeah, but simply by understanding, oh, investing a lot in friendships is appropriate given the timing. Investing a lot in a relationship makes sense once enough time has passed. Now, if you want to have amazing relationships, you do have to offer giving. You want to give first, but that doesn't mean you have to give ridiculously. Sure. It's actually better to drive a guy home an hour and a half than a girl. If you're getting to know a man, you can actually overinvest a little bit more. Not crazy, but driving him home an hour and a half, he won't think that you're going to want to fuck him. Your t-shirt looks like the rooftop of a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Of one of those. It does, doesn't it? It's cool. Go ahead. Yeah. You made out several times and she said she wants to see you. You text her on Saturday, she still hasn't texted. Something like this doesn't happen regularly. It's statistics. What I mean by that is there's an outside event that you have no control over. Maybe her dog died. Maybe her dog needed a haircut. Something with a relative. She's on a period. Whatever. If this is not a regular occurrence, then it is something that's outside your control, and I wouldn't worry about it. Just be like, oh, statistics. Best thing is, you're connected on Instagram. Post stories, let her watch your stories, she'll come back in a month. This is a perfect example of life, the universe, God testing you to see how much you want it. You have an amazing date, everything goes great, and she doesn't text back, and we can objectively evaluate based on your past performance that this wasn't one of your issues or a mistake that you made, but just statistical and externality that you had no control over. And then you get frustrated, you're like, what the fuck, why is this happening? And then God just wants to say, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. You're just like frustrated, you don't want it anymore, and then you push a little bit, and then the world opens up. And it will. If you just keep pushing, take this as a sign from the universe, from God, from life, to see how much you really want it. And take the frustration and just understand, And by the way, the only reason you're frustrated is because you've given it a meaning that pissed you off. If she doesn't come back with a very good reason, you dodged a bullet. Because that's not normal behavior. As in, it's only normal behavior if some black swan event happened, as in something very distressing in her life. Because she watched your story, you watched hers, she keeps posting on Instagram, and she ignores you, even though you kissed, even though she told you she wants to see you again. If she does not come back with a good reason, if she just gets back in touch without, one, a proper apology and a really, really understandable reason, you dodged a bullet. Instagram stories are the follow-up. Because what's the purpose of a follow-up? To pop back into her awareness, to send a stimulus into her consciousness. Here I am, without investing in her. You're not chasing at all. But she gets to watch you a little bit, gets to watch you a little bit. And yeah. And some of these texts, that's not a double text then, it's a follow-up because it's like strategic. It's the same thing, but what differentiates a double text from a follow-up is whether there's strategy behind it or whether it's just blind chasing. A strategic follow-up a week, 2 or 3 later makes sense, but if you can post great Instagram stories and she watches it, there's zero need to send a follow-up message. Zero. The reason you want to follow up is in case she's forgotten you. But the Instagram story makes her perfectly aware of your amazing existence. Yeah. You can say something like, what happened, ? Literally that. Because that's what you would do. I would just go, what happened, ? Because you kissed, she tells you she wants to see you again, and then does not respond to your message the day after the date. That's very unusual. I would just go, what happened, ? Bam, just like that. I love Grant Cardone. I think he's amazing in a lot of ways. The one thing where I'm a bit like meh is that he applied sales to dating. He chased his wife. I finally got her! Nobody knows the intimate details of a relationship except for the people who are in it. So I'm not going to judge it. I have no data to judge it. There are big differences between sales and dating. One is in sales, It's okay to follow up 7 to 13 times. In dating, you can follow up once. That's it. You don't send her 7 to 13 voice messages, text messages. That's creepy as shit. In B2B, perfectly acceptable. That's one. Second of all, in sales, you sell emotionally and you close logically. There's no logic in dating. It's not like she's at your place. You whip out a spreadsheet and you say, here are 17 very good reasons that should entice you to make love with me tonight. There is no persuasion/objection handling. In sales, you can use persuasion and objection handling. In dating, the opposite. In sales, you can go through an objection handling process with somebody. In dating, absolutely not. In dating, the second you see she's not interested, you say, cool, no worries. Boom. See you later. If you were to do that with sales, you'd lose most of the people because it's a logical interaction. It's a business transaction. In dating, if she says, no, I really, you know what, I think we need some space. And you say, well, I don't think we need it. I think we can make it through. Look at the good. No, the more you chase, the more she pulls away. It doesn't work. There's no logical persuasion and no objection handling. Objection handling means saying, cool, no worries, no problem. Obviously, it's a bit more elaborate. Depending on the context, there are certain talk tracks that are extremely effective for certain micro situations that we can go into. But those are a couple of the big differences. So Grant basically says he chased his lady a lot and eventually he got her. I don't know the details. They look happy, wish them all the best, and I said I think he's amazing. I just don't think from my experience that usually ever works. The reason that worked for him is because he is who he is. If you're Grant Cardone, yeah, you're allowed to chase somebody 13 times or whatever, or a year and a half. It's okay. He has enough status. It's fine. Don't chase somebody because the problem is even if you get her, she'll feel like she gave in. You're robbing her of the opportunity to win you over. That's very important. Don't rob her of the opportunity to win you over. And you can only not rob her of that opportunity if you give her an opportunity to invest in you. Okay, I see the message that you have is going to be something, no, fuck that message. Just say, let's have a call one of these days, and then you talk about it in person. You need to have a phone call. You're not going to be able to keep interest just by stupid text messages, okay? Instagram stories is one, but you got to have phone calls. Phone calls. You want to have 1 to 2 to 3 phone calls, at least one phone call in between, maybe 2 or 3. Phone call, like a phone date, basically. Not fucking on the phone. None of that shit, just like a phone date. You need to have a phone call. Literally, your message is just gonna be, let's have a call one of these days. She says, yes, cool. And then you just say, tomorrow evening, 8 p.m., ? And then you talk about it in person, because, yeah, just that's the process. A phone call, like think about emotional investment. What's the outcome? The outcome is you meeting her in Paris in 3 weeks. Okay, that's the outcome. Now, how do we increase the probability of that outcome occurring? Emotional investment. The more emotional investment we have from her, the higher the probability that she'll meet from you. Emotional investment is boosted way more through a phone call than through text. That's a process, the way it works, simple as. That's it, that's the answer. If you want to date long distance, non-exclusive ever, never do long distance exclusive, phone calls/video calls, phone calls are better in the beginning, are an absolute must have. Not, can you, if you have amazing texting skills and really good Instagram stories, do you need phone calls? No. But there's no reason not to have a phone call. Give me one example to the contrary where a psychologically normal person refused to have a phone call. Now, you're not supposed to have a phone call when you come straight off a dating app. Dating app, first date, just texting, fine, if you're local. But if you met, you're now going to a different city, you're going to have a fucking phone call. It's the most normal thing in the whole world. Yeah. No, very good question. Always schedule that phone call. Never just randomly call her. You can randomly call men, don't randomly call women out of the blue. I would highly advise against it. Schedule that call. I actually have a video, that's a perfect example. We have a YouTube video coming tomorrow or the day after where I say don't listen to dating advice from anybody. And it's actually true, because that's a horrible example. And you can use this emotional leverage against the person who doesn't give a shit about you. What's gained from that? See, this is another perfect example how business and dating is completely different. In a business setting, in a business context, I can schedule a meeting a week from now and I'll be there even if I don't hear anything from the person because it's expected they show up. If you schedule a date with a lady several days in advance, you need a confirmation. You almost want to expect that they'll be canceled. Business and dating, completely different. Business, very reliable, they'll probably be there. Dating, if you don't remind them, they'll probably flake. For me, it's so hilarious how fucking superficial we as human beings are. When I talk to people and they don't know, And then just like exchange their Instagram, they're like, oh, what the fuck? Oh my god! And the way they treat you is completely different. I was like, man, I'm the same fucking person. What the fuck do you want from me? The app could disappear tomorrow. Like, what are we talking about? It's one application. Yeah, that's why I say, don't go to Latin America to meet women. It's ridiculous. For you, it's different because you knew somebody who had a safe house, safe compound, all good. That was a very different situation. Overall, and also, by the way, if you can't hold a frame, if you can't hold a conversation, if you can't even approach, you won't be able to do it there either. She doesn't have to be a fucking top model, but she has to be very clear on your physical must-haves. And hygiene, she just has to have impeccable hygiene. Impeccable. I don't. I'm a man. I take care of my hygiene a lot. I shower every day. I shower sometimes twice a day. I take care of my hygiene a lot. But as a man, it's not as important. As a woman, she has to have impeccable hygiene, in my opinion. What you're doing is you're taking her and you're letting her look at the most, boxers and martial artists are the most masculine men they are. I wouldn't do it. I'm in good shape. And I wouldn't let her, like kickboxers, those guys are fucking gladiators. She'll get horny watching them. I don't want that. It's not a good idea. Take her for drinks. Don't bring her into an environment where there are other men, and ideally not where other gladiators are competing. See, here's the problem. That's what happens when you suggest shit like you see what I'm saying, right? Because if you just suggested drinks, she would have never thought to suggest 11 to 3 a.m. How much, like, when are you the least horny? Like, during that time. It's not very romantic. Yeah, just don't talk about serious shit. Refuse to talk about serious shit. I wouldn't. I just don't talk about serious shit. It's just fun and playful. Fun and playful, 90%. It's the first date, it's supposed to be that. By the way, this is something that I'm serious in nature. I like to spend time with people who can just why when I'm meeting somebody socially, does the conversation have to be serious anyway? We're way too serious anyway. If we're in a social situation, it's supposed to be fun. Sometimes we are going to have serious conversations, but not first couple of dates. Just don't talk about serious shit, only talk about fun. It demands becoming a little bit different to who we are. Not completely, but a little bit, because do you think a woman wants to be with you in year 7 if you're just serious and boring? No. Yeah, this is about retention as well. We need to become more fun. Not funny, but more fun, more positive emotions, more lighthearted, more playful. We have that in us, we just gotta unleash it and train it.